Okay, so you want to confidently approach someone new, right? We're diving into this guide, and, well, it's all about approaching a girl. But honestly, the title had me raising an eyebrow, too. I mean, it is 2025.
Right, you are. And luckily, the core concepts here are solid gold for approaching anyone, regardless of gender or romantic intentions.
That's a relief. I was already brainstorming some edits to the title. So first things first, this guide dives straight into mental prep. It's all about confidence, but isn't that easier said than done?
Well, it's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about genuinely feeling comfortable in your own skin. That inner confidence, it's magnetic. And if you view the interaction as a chance to connect, not a performance that can really help shift your perspective and ease the pressure.
I like that. No pressure, just connection. But what about reading the situation? I'm picturing myself walking into a room scanning for, the right moment.
Observing body language is key. Is the person you want to approach deep in conversation, giving off, don't even think about it vibes. You got to respect that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want someone interrupting your flow, right?
Definitely not. The guide suggests waiting for a natural break in a group conversation. I guess barging in mid-story is not the best first impression.
Not unless your goal is to become that person everyone remembers for all the wrong reasons. It's about finding that sweet spot. Respectful, but not hesitant.
Okay, mental prep done, situation assessed. Time for the approach. Now I'm getting nervous.
Remember that inner confidence we talked about? Now's the time to channel it. Calm, open body language. A genuine smile, not a grimace. Those speak volumes before you even say a word.
Let's see. Subtly adjusts posture, tries a relaxed smile. Is this what you mean? I feel like I'm back in high school drama club.
You're getting there. Think less stage presence, more meeting a friend of a friend. And remember eye contact, yes, but no laser focus. We want interested, not intense.
Right. No staring contests. The guide also mentioned pacing. Not too fast, not too slow. Is there a perfect speed?
More like a comfortable pace. You're not chasing them down, and you're not a spy sneaking up. Think approachable, not alarming.
Got it. So the approach has made no accidental collisions. Time for the dreaded icebreaker. Any brilliant opening lines you can share?
Forget cheesy pickup lines. It's about being authentic and engaging. The guide suggests keeping it simple. Hey, how's it going? Or something relevant to the setting.
So like if you're at a coffee shop, something along the lines of, wow, that latte art is impressive, would work.
Exactly. Or, I've been meaning to try their cold brew.
Yeah.
Any recommendations? It's about being natural, not trying too hard to be witty or clever.
That makes me feel way less pressure. So basic greeting done. What about actually introducing yourself?
Again, keep it simple. On your name, by the way. Nice to meet you. It acknowledges them as an individual, which is much more respectful than, hey, you with the great hair.
Ouch. Yeah, that would not be a good look. It seems like a small thing, but it makes such a difference. Okay, introduction's done. Now what?
The art of small talk.
Oh.
This is where you can really shine. Ask open-ended questions that show genuine interest.
Open-ended. Okay,
Yeah.
Remind me why those are so important. I always blank on conversation starters.
Think of it this way. Do you like coffee? Is a dead end. What's your go-to coffee order? Opens up a whole conversation about their tastes. Favorite cafes. You get the idea.
Ooh, I see. So instead of nice weather, huh? Which invites a one-word answer, I could try something like, what's your favorite thing about this time of year?
You're getting it.
Yeah.
The guide also has a bunch of examples from books and movies to hobbies.
Oh, let me see that. Okay, this one is good. What's the last song you listened to that made you want to dance? That's so much more fun than talking about the weather.
Right. And remember, it's a two-way street. Active listening is crucial. You're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're genuinely engaging with their answers.
That makes sense. So I asked about their favorite song. They tell me, what next? Do I jump in with my favorite song or?
It's all about the flow. Maybe their song choice sparks a memory for you, or you ask a follow-up about their musical taste. It's about building on what they share, not just throwing out random facts about yourself.
Okay, this is actually starting to make sense. I feel like I could hold a conversation now without panicking. But what about humor? Should I be cracking jokes right away?
Humor can be great, but tread carefully. The goal is to make them laugh with you, not at you, or worse, feel uncomfortable.
So maybe hold off on the stand-up routine for a first meeting.
Definitely. Keep it light appropriate and avoid anything that could be misconstrued. Gauge their sense of humor as you go.
So no cheesy pickup lines. I'm a little heartbroken. I had a good one ready.
Save it for your comedy debut. Instead of trying to force humor, focus on building a genuine connection. And that brings us to compliments.
Ooh, compliments. I always struggle with those. Too cheesy, too generic. What's the sweet spot?
The guide suggests going beyond physical appearance. It's about noticing something unique and expressing genuine admiration.
Okay, so instead of "you have amazing eyes," I could try something like "your laugh is contagious. I love how much you're enjoying this conversation."
Now you're getting it. It's specific, it's personal, and it shows you're paying attention to more than just their looks.
This is great. I feel like I'm actually absorbing useful information, not just generic advice. But how do you know if you're overstepping boundaries? Are there any clear signs to watch out for?
Absolutely. If someone is looking away, avoiding eye contact, giving short answers, or physically pulling back, those are pretty clear indicators that they're not comfortable.
Right. I can see how those are universal signs of, give me some space.
Yep.
And in those situations, the best thing to do is
To respect their cues and gracefully back off. We'll delve into those graceful exits in the next part. You don't want to miss those.
ooh, cliffhanger. All right, everyone, stay tuned for part 2, where we'll navigate those tricky moments and figure out how to exit a conversation gracefully. See you soon.
All right, we're back and ready to tackle those graceful exits you mentioned. I feel like this is where things get really tricky.
It's all about reading those subtle cues and respecting boundaries. Sometimes it's as clear as day as someone's looking at their watch phone, glued to their hand answers getting shorter. Yeah, those are pretty obvious wrap it up signals. But what about those situations where it's not so black and white? Like the conversation is flowing, but you're getting a vibe that maybe they're not feeling it romantically.
That's where tuning into those less obvious cues comes in. Are they subtly angling their body away? Have their responses gone from enthusiastic to one-word answers? Are their eyes darting around the room looking for an escape route?
Oh, those are good ones. I'm definitely guilty of the escape route eye contact when I'm stuck in a conversation I want to get out of. But what if you're really enjoying the chat and you're not sure if they're feeling the same level of, let's say, spark?
It's all about gauging interest.
Yeah.
Are they asking you questions back, leaning in, genuinely engaged, or are they just politely nodding along? That's a big difference.
Okay, so let's say you're picking up on some positive vibes. How do you transition from casual conversation to something more? The guide mentions suggesting a future hangout, but that feels so high stakes.
It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Something like, I'm really enjoying this conversation. Would you be open to continuing it sometime? Keeps it open-ended, but expresses interest.
I like that. No pressure, but it puts the idea out there. But what if they hesitate? Do you push for a phone number, or is that too aggressive?
Read the room. If they seem hesitant, don't push it. You could say something like, no worries, I completely understand. It was great chatting with you anyway. Leave the door open, but respect their decision.
That feels much less awkward than a desperate scramble for their contact info. But let's say they're into the idea of hanging out. Do you suggest a specific activity or just leave it open?
Tailor it to the conversation. Did they mention a love for indie movies? Suggest checking out that new film festival. Were they geeking out about a new ramen spot? Casual lunch invite.
Oh, that's smart. It shows you were listening and builds on a shared interest. But back to those graceful exits. What are some good lines to use when you want to wrap things up?
If the conversation is winding down naturally, a simple, it was great talking to you, enjoy the rest of your day, works perfectly.
And if they're giving off those please let me escape vibes, what then?
Acknowledge the conversation, express appreciation for their time, and make your exit. Something like, well, this has been fun, but I should probably let you get back to, and fill in the blank based on the context.
That's so much better than just mumbling, gotta go, and scurrying away.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered the positive signals and the not so positive signals, but what about those in-between moments? Like, they're friendly, but you're not getting that romantic vibe.
This is where those subtle cues become even more important. Are they mirroring your body language? Is there a playful energy in their responses?
Yeah.
These can be subtle indicators of attraction, but remember, even with positive signs, proceed with caution and respect their boundaries.
So even if they're laughing at my jokes, don't assume it's a love connection. Good to know.
But speaking of jokes, we touched on humor earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Any more tips on using it effectively? I don't want to come off as trying too hard.
Authenticity is key. Avoid canned jokes or anything that could be offensive. Self-deprecating humor can be tricky a little. Is fine, but too much can come off as insecure. Right, you want to make them laugh with you, not feel sorry for you. So what about compliments? We know to avoid anything superficial.
Genuine and specific is the winning combo. Instead of, you're beautiful, try, I love how your passion for insert their interest here shines through when you talk about it.
Oh, that's good. It shows you're paying attention to more than just their appearance. Okay, humor, compliments, anything else we should keep in mind as we navigate these initial interactions?
Remember, this guide is a starting point, not a magic formula. Real-life interactions are nuanced, and there's no script that guarantees success.
So what's the most important takeaway?
Be yourself. Trying to be someone you're not is exhausting and ultimately unattractive. Authenticity is magnetic.
Love that. So be yourself, be respectful, read the room, and hopefully have some fun in the process. This has been incredibly helpful, but I know there's more to come.
Absolutely. In the final part, we'll tackle the big one, dealing with rejection. Plus, we'll explore how to build your confidence over time. You won't want to miss it.
Okay, everyone, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll conquer those lingering fears and empower you to approach anyone new with confidence and grace. See you soon. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into approaching someone new. I'm ready to tackle that rejection elephant in the room. It feels like no matter how much prep you do, rejection can still sting.
It's true. Rejection is a universal human experience, and it can be tough no matter how confident you are. But the key is to reframe how you view it.
Okay, so instead of seeing it as a personal failure,
think of it as valuable feedback. Not everyone is going to be interested, and that's okay. Their lack of interest doesn't diminish your worth.
So it's more about compatibility than some flaw in me. That's a good way to look at it. But how do you bounce back from that initial sting? Any tips for dealing with those post-rejection blues?
Well, remember that rejection is often about circumstances or timing. Maybe they're already in a relationship not looking to meet new people, or maybe your personalities just don't mesh.
So it's not always a no. Sometimes it's just a not right now.
Exactly. And every no gets you closer to a yes. View each interaction, regardless of the outcome, as a learning experience.
That makes sense. It's like even if you didn't hit a home run, you still got some practice swings in. But speaking of practice, you mentioned building confidence earlier. Any tips for those of us who still feel a little shaky when it comes to approaching someone new?
The best way to build confidence is to step outside your comfort zone. The more you put yourself out there, the more natural it will become.
So fake it till you make it.
Not exactly. It's more about embracing the awkwardness and learning from each experience. Remember those first few times you rode a bike? It probably wasn't graceful, but you kept practicing until it became second nature.
Okay, so with approaching new people, I just need to keep practicing those approaching muscles.
Exactly. And celebrate those small wins. Each time you push past your comfort zone, you're building resilience and confidence.
I like that. So
Yeah.
even if the conversation is a little awkward or doesn't lead anywhere, I can still pat myself on the back for putting myself out there. But what about those lingering anxieties? Like, what if I freeze up, say something stupid, or completely embarrass myself?
We all have those fears.
Yeah.
But remember, most people are more concerned with their own insecurities than judging you. And even if something awkward happens, a little self-deprecating humor can go a long way.
So laugh it off and move on.
Exactly. It's not about being perfect. It's about being genuine and connecting with another human being. And if you can laugh at yourself along the way, even better.
Okay, so we've talked about reframing rejection, building confidence, and embracing the awkwardness. Any other parting words of wisdom for our listeners who are ready to take the leap and approach someone new?
Remember what we discussed in the first part of this deep dive. Approach each interaction with authenticity, respect, and a genuine desire to connect.
And even if it doesn't lead to a romantic spark or a new friendship, it's still a chance to expand your social horizons and practice those all-important interaction skills.
Well said. Every conversation is an opportunity for growth and learning.
This has been an incredible journey. I feel like I've gone from avoid eye contact at all costs to bring on the conversations. Any final thoughts for our listeners as they head out into the world ready to make those connections?
As you venture out, consider this. If you could go back and change one thing about a past interaction with someone new, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's all about reflecting on those experiences and applying those insights to future interactions.
Exactly. And remember, approaching someone new doesn't have to be a daunting task. Embrace the journey, be yourself, and most importantly, have fun.
On that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We've explored everything from mental prep to graceful exits, tackled those rejection anxieties, and hopefully empowered you to approach new people with confidence and grace.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring the fascinating world of human interaction.